Local news that matters on Local 22 News.
At this place in history, we're in Essex with Executive Director of the Vermont Historical Society, Steve Perkins. Steve, we're on the side of 289. What are we doing out here?
We're standing on the side of an unfinished highway. I think we kind of have a tradition of doing unfinished highways every couple of years. So I thought I'd talk about some more recent history and this road in particular. People really, I think, enjoy the road. It gets you very quickly from Route 117 in Essex to Route 2A and on up into Colchester. But it was part of a larger plan. And it really goes back late 50s when they were envisioning what the interstate system would look like in Vermont and where the exits were going to be and how people moved around. And so they finished I-89 and they ran into this issue of how do we move people in and out of the city of Burlington. And so in previous spots, we've talked about the Southern Connector, or Champlain Parkway, or Beltline, even they called it at one point. This Circumferential Highway was meant to link into all of that and connect I-89 in Williston all the way up and around to 127 in Colchester. And of course, if the whole highway system was done, that would be a complete circle around Burlington. One of the big drivers for this highway was IBM coming to Vermont. Now, IBM was one of the biggest employers in the state, and thousands of people were driving to this large plant, which is almost the size of a town itself. And so that really drove the need for having a highway like this, because all of the little roads, Route 2A, North Williston Road, were becoming overwhelmed with traffic.
I think a lot of people are familiar with at least some of the details of this story, but newcomers, they ask, why are there all these short segments of highways not connected? So what happened?
I mean, for all of them, we've created lots of plans, and then things changed over time. It takes a long time to build a highway. For this highway in particular, the funding model changed a couple times. So originally it was federally funded. So in 1973, it was designed. And it was going to be federally funded. It was going to be I-289. It ended up costing a bit more, and so in the mid-'80s, the Vermont State Legislature put money into the project, and it became Vermont 289. They ended up breaking up into segments, and they gave them letters, A through J. And the first chunk completed was this piece in Essex. And so it was finished. In 1993, this opened, and there were full plans for the Williston section to get completed, and then the last loop was going to be done up through Colchester. But they ran into permitting issues, ran into environmental issues, and because the highway had been delayed for so long, all of these developments started growing up, in the suburbs of Burlington. So all of these things slowed the highway down. In 2011, Governor Shumlin said, you know what, we're just not going to do it. We're going to call the project as designed, done.
So where we're standing right now is a pull-off, or maybe like a little rest area, you could call it, closer to the 117 side. But you said that there's some evidence around here of what could have been.
We're on what feels like a pull-off right now, but it was originally designed as an exit.
Oh.
So there was going to be an exit here that led over to Sand Hill Road. And the highway was originally supposed to be divided here. You can see the hillside where they've sculpted it to take that roadway. And then even off to the side, you can see the cut through the hill where the ramp was going to go over to Sand Hill Road to get you off of this highway. And you can see this in other places along the route of where the highway was going to go. If you look at a map or a satellite, you can kind of see where the houses and roads aren't, where this highway was meant to go.
At this place in history.
Local news that matters on Local 22 News.